Hi, everybody. This is SAAD for the SAAD Truth. Some of you may have heard of the recent situation with a professor at Fresno State by the name of Randa Jarrar. She is a professor of creative writing who, upon the death of Barbara Bush, tweeted some stuff that was certainly very objectionable and lacking in basic humanity. And then a whole bunch of people started going after her for, expressing herself in such a grotesque manner. Certainly the timing of her viewpoints were perhaps ill-advised since the lady had just passed away. So people said she should be fired, and then she sort of doubled down. This is the professor in question. Saying, hey, I make $100,000, I am protected by tenure, you can't do anything to me, and so on. And then she apparently shared some phone number pretending as though it were hers, I think, if I got the story straight, whereas it was really some crisis suicide prevention hotline, and people started calling that number, and that caused a problem. So she definitely seems to be a rather execrable creature. And so what do you think I'm going to say? Should she be fired? Well, if you know anything about my positions and about what it means to have cognitive consistency, then you would know that my answer is no. Just looking at some of her signaling, she seems to be very much driven by the victimology poker. She's an Arab Palestinian woman of color who's differently weighted. And so she's oppressed everywhere she turns, and she was detained in Israel. I was detained in Israel because I had an Arabic name. And I moved on and I learned to love again. So she's everything that I could possibly detest in the archetype of a social justice warrior. But guess what? I don't think she should be fired. Freedom of speech, to reiterate for the 1,000,000th time, doesn't exist so that people can say, oh, gee, Dr. Saad, you are the model of masculinity. You're not only gorgeous, but you're also supremely brilliant. Of course, those statements are true, but that's not why we have people having their freedoms of speech protected so that they can send me compliments. Rather, we have freedom of speech so that we could tolerate and accept the most fundamentally objectionable positions. That's what freedom of speech is meant to protect. This is why I, a person who is Jewish, says that it is perfectly acceptable or legal or something that needs to be tolerated for Holocaust deniers to argue that the Holocaust never happened. What could be more objectionable than that? Yet if you truly believe in freedom of speech, that's what you have to fight for. So for those of you who are wondering whether I support the right of an institution to fire this idiot for her tweet behavior, absolutely not. She has a right to be an idiot. She has a right to be a detestable human being. She's not doing this in the context of her position at the university. She wasn't insulting a student as part of her job as a professor. She didn't violate any of the ethical obligations of her being a professor. So she has every right to be a grandiose schmuck, a sizable schmuck. What is perhaps more objectionable than her idiocy is the fact that this idiot has tenure at an American university. I went to Google Scholar to check her citation index. Now, I understand she is a creative writer, so she obviously is not going to have a bibliometric profile akin to that of someone in biology. But I saw basically that she had one citation. I think one book had 31 citations, then another one had 5, and then a few others had 2 each, including a Salon article on why she hates white belly dancers because, they're engaging in cultural appropriation. So her bibliometric profile is substantially less impressive than my out-of-order toaster, and yet she has tenure at a university. That's what's objectionable, not the fact that she is a gargantuan fool who lacks humanity. That's what freedom of speech is there for, to protect schmucks like this professor. Have a good day, everybody. Ciao.